What's the deal, ladies and gentlemen? I'm back with one of my tech guys. Dealer was supposed to be here. Something he stubbed his toe at a clan meeting. I don't know what the fuck going on with Dealer. Say, nah, Dealer was something his wife was called. He had to run out. But I got one of my
Dealer
tech guys.
dealers preparing for the
Yeah.
apocalypse.
He's packing up a bunch of canned goods in his storage shed, getting ready for the Y2K, man. But anyway, I haven't done a video in a few days. Your boy's been a little under the weather. But with that being said, there have been a few stories that have come out as of late about PS4 Pro mode, about the PS4 Pro mode, and I see everybody going crazy about it, PS4 Pro mode. But I remember back around E3 or so, Phil and those guys kind of talked about Scorpio doing something similar, if not better. And also, before they even mentioned Scorpio, the Xbox One S, because I remember what's the guy name from the Coalition, the Gears guy,
oh, oh, I know what you're talking about, but yeah,
Rod Ferguson. Rod
yeah.
Ferguson confirmed that games will run better on the Xbox One S. You know what I mean? But anyway, like I said, you're the tech guy. Talk to me. So, what is this PS4 mode? What is boost mode? I'm saying, what is this all about? The pros and the cons. Talk to me.
Okay, so basically, Sony locked the extra power of the PS4 Pro out for regular PS4 games because I think they were scared that it would cause some problems and that some of the games wouldn't run properly. But essentially, what it's doing is allowing the system to run its full capabilities, and the games are taking advantage of it and scaling dynamically. So. Bloodborne. I actually have a list here of some of the games improvement. I'll try to pull it up. But Bloodborne, for instance,
Okay.
it got an increase. It's still not perfect by any means, but it got an increase. Some of the Call of Duties, I believe, not this year's Call of Duty, but the last year's Call of Duty, I believe it would scale up and down dynamically through resolution. It wasn't a hard lock at 60 frames per second. Now
You
it
talking
is.
about for the PS4 Pro? Yeah, they use a dynamic resolution, the same as the Xbox One version, right?
That's
So,
that's correct. So yeah,
okay.
so basically the game in a nutshell, basically the games are scaling up and taking advantage of it. So any game like for another game, Assassin's Creed
Okay.
Unity, as we all know, ran like dog shit on the PS4. Now
Uh-huh.
it's all the NPCs are not popping in. It's running at a steady 30 frames per second. So like these are some of the improvements to be had. And some of these games, I'm hearing some reports. I can't confirm all these reports, but I'm hearing some reports that some of these games are actually even having a higher graphic fidelity too.
Bro, I've said this time and time again. That's I'm always talking about better graphics, but if you're looking at the specs of the PS4 Pro, and we're talking about 4.2 teraflops of computing power, right? Much more powerful than the standard PS4. My expectations, I was expecting a big leap in graphic fidelity with the PS4 Pro. You know what I mean? And I know, I've said this time and time again. Resolution does not give you better graphics. Um, do you think that we would start to see, you know what I mean, a higher graphic fidelity with
Yes, yeah. I think so. I think so. They're slowly starting to use the power correctly. Like I'll give you an example. I have a PSVR unit, and
uh-huh.
when I got the PS4 Pro, I knew that it would be better, but I didn't know how much better it was. Like I got a good increase in resolution, but not only did I get an increase in resolution, I got an increase in graphic fidelity in my games. Like the games had better textures, they had more things on the screen, they had better grass, whatever. But and it wasn't like a little bit; it was a substantial difference. So if they could do this on the PSVR games, the developers can easily do this on the old PS4 games, and of course the games that are made for PS4 Pro, they can take advantage of the extra power as well. They can do it. It's just it requires a little bit of work, and I think it's something that Sony is trying to protect their brand so that they don't get infighting. So they're trying to keep some type of parity there. But I say the hell with that. The system is more capable. Let the game speak. Let the game show that. I'm already seeing some posts like over on NeoGAF and different forums, where they're showing the regular PS4 version and the PS4 Pro version, and they're calling the regular PS4 version, the PS4 peasant version, and the
Oh
PS4
shit.
Pro. They're calling it the PS4 beast version.
Oh
So it's
shit. So
already
so we
starting to
got
happen.
we got a little how you say a civil war going on over there with the ponies. But that shit
Yeah.
started around E3. I mean, it just kind of died down a little bit, but that shit started around E3. Now, like I said again, I'm hearing people that are singing the second coming of this pro mode or boost mode or beast mode, whatever they want to call it. But this is something that the Xbox One S has been doing since the beginning, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Games
Yeah.
slightly run better on the Xbox One S.
Yeah, the Xbox One S does the same thing. I think the reason why people are losing their shits on this is because it's at a higher level that you can see the improvements. Like the Xbox One S, we're not really getting higher graphic fidelity, but we are getting more steady frame rates. But it's like 3 to 4 frames per second. Where most Xbox games didn't really struggle too much in the frame rates because of the overclocked CPU. The frame rates were on some games were tend to be better than the PS4. So the PS4 kind of needed it, and because the PS4 Pro is a substantial increase over the Xbox One S, the differences are they're higher. So they're more noticeable. So I guess that's why people are harping more on it.
So I mean, like I said, it was an article too talking about the Scorpio. Well, let's go straight to the chase. I know you don't have long. With the PS4, because this is what I'm hearing. With the PS4 enabling this boost mode or pro mode, will it come close in performance to what's supposedly rumored to be in the Project Scorpio? That's the nitty gritty
Yeah,
of it.
yes, I think it'll come. I personally, this is not bias. This is like with my tech hat on. Personally, I think the Xbox Scorpio will have a better performance. With their comparable pro mode, whatever, because it's built into the UWP application. So the developers don't really got to do shit,
Mhm.
Where on this one, I'm not saying they got to do a lot of work, but they still got to implement some type of code. And seeing how it is working quite well, I think AMD must have helped them with this, so
Okay.
that on their architecture, so that they can take advantage of it. But I would think that the Xbox Scorpio versions of the games will be a more substantial increase because, like I said, they're built into the UWP platform itself.
Uh-huh.
And I'm already seeing evidence with that, like you said, with the Xbox One S. Games were running better already without the developers doing anything to it. Like on the PS4 Pro, as we've seen at launch, these games were not taking advantage of the extra power. They had to actually, make this mode in there. And if developers really want to take advantage of it, they're still gonna have to, patch it.
Oh, they're still gonna have to patch it. But I'm
Yeah,
just
because
saying,
like this is like. Go
no,
ahead.
when I'm saying, from what I'm hearing, like I said, I've been away for a few days, and I'm getting 1,000 hits on Twitter and Facebook, and they're saying, "Oh man, Scorpio's in trouble. Microsoft better have an answer to this." We this is to
How?
be clear. We
How?
talking about, bro. That's the hey, listen. I ain't claiming to be the sharpest knife in the drawer, but if just comparing you got 4.2 um with the Pro, you got 1.8 with the standard PS4. So you would need the Pro and the standard to just equal. Just to say if
Yeah.
I'm hearing the Scorp's a little bit more powerful than 6 T-flops, but you would need those two just to equal that of the Scorpio. And I'm asking, like, what, like, is, Sony still got those shitty Jaguar Core CPU.
Yeah.
I don't, and again, I'm not saying that I'm not saying it because I have a Pro. I don't think it's going to be close.
No, it's not. And the thing is that yes, okay, the PS4 Pro, it's cracking out some okay looking graphics with their checkerboard rendering and all this shit, right? But the one thing that's hampering them as well is that they're still stuck at 30 frames per second because of their shitty CPU. We're not going to have that problem with the Scorpio because I think it's going to have a really good CPU. I don't want to do any more predictions because fuck, we know how that turned out last time. But
Uh-huh.
I still think it's going to be using the newest shit from AMD. And if that's correct, it's going to be running things at 60 frames per second, which is going to be a significant increase in performance over the PS4 Pro right there alone. Much less it's going to be running the Vega architecture, so it's going to be better. You're going to be able to see a difference. It's almost a 2 teraflop performance increase, and like you, I'm also hearing that it's going a little bit higher because they're they're tinkering with overclocking it right now. It's going to be a big difference. So these Sony guys, they can rejoice right now because yes, they're getting some benefits. But make no mistake, once the Scorpio comes out, you're going to see a big difference. I personally think that some of the PS4 Pro stuff is probably going to look a generation behind in comparison to the Scorpio.
Oh, damn! Wow. I mean, oh wow. Well,
Well, it's two teraflops. You got a lot more memory in there. You got a higher bandwidth. So right off the bat, just with the higher bandwidth, you're gonna get what you want. You're gonna get better textures right there alone with the higher bandwidth. With the higher compute performance, you're gonna get more things rendered on the screen. They're gonna be able to do more things, and I think they're gonna be able to take it to the next level.
And before I let you get out of here, I was talking to somebody within the loop, and they were telling me, and I'm not claiming to be the biggest tech guy, but I'm not a complete noob. But he was saying, being that one of the mistakes that Sony made with the Pro, that they can't do both, either give you better textures or higher resolution because of the memory bandwidth. You know what I mean? With the RAM, with the PS4 Pro. You know what I mean? And I guess basically was kind of sold at a profit because it is using kind of basically it's a little a souped up PS4, where here you have the Project Scorpio supposedly be supposed to be using 2017 tech. So we shall see.
And then you have that developer from Ori and the Blind Forest coming out and saying, it's like a next generation console. And all these people are like losing their shit. Oh, this is what the fuck he's talking about. This guy's a fucking developer. This guy has access to it. What do you mean? He doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about.
Yeah, they wouldn't a half-ass upgrade.
It's like, hey, come on. Who's gonna have more intimate knowledge about my children, about my wife, than me, who has interaction with them? You know what I'm saying? So if I tell you something on them, you should believe it because I'm interacting with them.
Yeah. Like I say, at the end of the day, what I think, let's say this before we get the hell up out of here. I think, because right now Sony's what's hot, is what's striking. Microsoft need to be more in the media, and telling people about the benefits of the Scorpio and how it's going to look, better, graphically wise compared to the Pro. You know what I mean? Come out and say it. All that being modest, being weak, and being humble. We're gonna let the game speak for yourself. We live in a day of savages, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The savages, the Nazareth, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like I said, we shall see, man. At the end of the day, offhand, you give me a few titles that are taking advantage of the PS4 Pro. See if I have.
Yeah, sure. I have a few I could tell you, bro. I have a few. Okay, so Bloodborne is one of them. It takes advantage, has a much more stable rate. Battlefield 4, it used to have some drops that load to 35 frames per second. Now it's running stable 60 frames per second. It's one of the better ones. What else? Call of Duty Ghost is locked at 60 frames per second now. Let me see what else. Darksiders 2 is locked at 30 frames per second, is running smooth now. Dark Souls 3 is running smooth. Dying Daylight is running good. Dead Island Remastered is running. Actually, no, there's no improvement on that one. Dead Nation, I think it's like some car. I can't remember what that game is. That's running at a lock 60 frames per second. Destiny has improved load times. Dishonored.
Fidelity, just a few, but locks up in a frame rate performance.
Yeah, right now Dishonored has is locked at 30 frames per second, no more dips. Doom is running better.
But listen,
Drive Club actually has graphical improvements. The motion blur is improved on it. So on Drive Club, the motion blur is improved. So it's a.
Now again, we talk. I mean, I don't know, maybe, but I'm just saying. You look at a game like, the console 4.2 T flops. It kind of blows my mind that they can't get that game to a lock 60 frames with all that mustard on the hot dog. You know what I mean?
Well, it's the CPU. The CPU is they made a critical mistake with going with that fucking shitty Jaguar core, overclocked or not. It is holding them back. It's a fact. That is the bottleneck of the system. The rest of the system is actually pretty well built, but that CPU just fucking holds it back. It just holds it back. There's nothing more to say on that.
Oh shit. All right. Well, I'm not gonna hold you up any longer. Thank you for swinging by right quick just to go over this tech and I catch you Tuesday on Xbox before you whatever. I'll catch
Yeah,
you guys.
I will say that I have been trying it out because I do have the update,
Okay. Yeah.
and
What's up, Nick?
I do like the update. I do notice a difference on my games. They run smoother. I'm noticing quicker load times. I noticed the menu and the menu system on the PS4, to be honest with you, has been quite fast all along. But I noticed that it's a little bit faster, a little bit more responsive. You know,
Uh-huh.
of course, the external hard drive. Like I have a PS4 Pro now, obviously, so it has 2 terabyte drive, so that's not a problem. But on my old PS4, you know, that was a 500 giga, right? And I always had to like delete games off of it, you know, in order to play like new games. That was kind of annoying. So it's I know it's a nice that Sony implemented this external hard drive. It's a little bit late, but you know what? Better late than never. And another thing, I have the PSVR. I enjoy watching 3D movies on my TV. I got a good collection of 3D movies. The VR headset actually enables you to watch 3D movies now in it. It's pretty good, to be honest with you. So, I'll tip my hat off to Sony. This is a pretty good update because most of their updates are just stability updates. They don't really do anything. And
Okay.
this
Well, listen, a dealer. I mean, D. I don't mean to look at the glasses being half empty, but I just see them getting a lot of praise for them allowing something that the Xbox has had for since 2013 or so with external hard drive support.
yeah, yeah,
To
yeah,
me, that's crazy as hell. You know what I mean? But
yeah. It was Xbox had it for like 3 years already. We've had it.
yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know, but you know what? They are the market leader, so they're the media darling, so it is what it is. That's how they push it. It is a welcome addition, of course, but
Oh,
it
it
is kind
is.
of old news. We've had it for 3 months on other platforms, and they could have implemented it because they are running AMD tech. It's basically a PC in there, so they could have done it. And this goes to show you that Microsoft engineering is way ahead of Sony because they were able to do this 3 years ago.
Yeah, 3 years ago. Said 3 years ago, a
Yeah,
3 hour tour. But anyway, like I said, I got my brother here. D, I'm gonna let him go to a Super Bowl party. They playing American football, D, not soccer. Um,
I gotta say before we go on today's football game, I'm sorry for all you New England people out there. I want them to get smashed by Atlanta. And like
why is that?
I want
I'm a New England fan, but I don't
you know
think I'm
why is
what
that? You want me? I'm gonna go straight. I'll tell you why that is because Trump is a big Patriots fan, and him and the staff they're all buddies, and he's all buddy with Tom Brady. So I want them to get squashed.
Yeah, I might be with you on that. I'm not a big Trump fan right now. Yeah, I also too I heard some, because I like the Patriots, but I'm not a real lot big sports buff. I like boxing, of course, my favorite sport of ever all times. But I was hearing some shit that Tom Brady didn't want to go to the White House when they not every year whoever wins the championship goes to whether it's basketball or goes to the White House. And I was hearing some people sent me a link to. I don't know how true it is that he didn't want to go to the White House when they won their year. So I don't know, man. I'm looking at my Patriots team kind of sideways, man.
Yeah, it could be true because him and Trump are like legit good friends. Not like, hey, when I see you, hi. Like they're like buddies. So I could see that
I don't
possibly
know.
being true. But
I mean, I don't know. They Trump in a little hot water right now. You're talking about America.
yo,
America, we got killers. We ain't as innocent, which is the truth. But you don't come out and say that shit on
yo,
public TV.
yes, I know. That's like that's like yeah, that's like,
You know, that,
that's like us coming out and like saying all the stuff that we say about Iron Wolf. Some of it's just not appropriate. We gotta leave that for behind the scenes.
oh man. Oh man, jokers, man. But hey man, shout out to that nigga Wolf, the motherfucking facts.
I was laughing at the Beastfire
what happened?
the thumbnail you put up is Iron Wolf IOU.
Oh
I
yeah,
got a good laugh off of
I
that.
got a motherfucking sense of humor, man. Speaking of which, if you didn't catch the last show of the multiplayer podcast, please do so. You don't know what you're missing. My man K Mega has officially changed his name to L Mega. So I'm trying to,
He got cuts under both of his eyes. Got his tongue cut out.
yeah, they did him like the Passion of Christ. They strung his ass up there.
The comment section was getting in, throwing some stones.
Yeah. That was a funny goddamn show, man. But thank you, man. Like I said, subscribe to my man D. Check him out. Great channel, great content, and I'll catch you guys later on today. We out of here, man. Bang.